Hey there, YouTube, Mrlubufu. And now the full set spoiled, I wanted to give myself 24 hours to think on it before I gave my complete set review. So I will. This set review is based primarily on limited to help you guys do well, pre-release and in draft, though if a card I feel dictates mention in other formats, I will do so. Okay, let's go ahead and hop right in. First up, we have Aegis of the Gods. So it's a 2-mana 2/1 that says you have hexproof. Now, I know some people are really enjoying it because against mono black, it does have upsides of protection from Thoughtseize and some of the other triggered ability or some of the other cards in the deck. And the fact that it's a human means it works well with like Zathra Necromancer, that sort of thing. I think it's okay in standard. In limited, it's a 2/1 for 2, so it's not like the most oppressive rare you might have. So I'm borderline on this card. Next, you have a Johnny's Presence, which is any number of target creatures get +1/+1 indestructible for white, and then Strive for 2 white, or 2 colors white. This card can set up some blowouts, that's for certain. You gotta be careful when you look for it. Gaining indestructible is not a small fact, like we saw the green Mortal's Ardor, I believe it is, from Born of the Gods. And indestructibility is not something to scoff at. And the fact you give 2 creatures indestructible for 2 colors white means if you're attacking into creatures and they have 4 mana open, you should keep your eyes. Watch out for this card, basically. Also, if they leave up just single white for the same reason. Next we have our Crone Massif. It's a 4 mana 2/2 that is a tapper. It taps creatures. The fact it costs 4 is a little bit disappointing. But in this format, having something that can just unilaterally tap creatures is pretty nice. Like, as far as Warden from Theros, the one that taps powers his creature or power 3 or less, was useless so often. This one's probably much stronger, especially if the format's as Voltron-y as like making a giant creature as the previous two were. Next, we have Armament of Nyx, which is a card I really enjoy. Enchanted creature has double strike if it's an enchantment, otherwise prevent all damage to be dealt by it. Um, so it's really fascinating that this is like bad arrest, or like you put it on your own guy and you just kill him. Like this card is gonna be it's far more complex. I think it's good, but it's so situational if you're looking at it as a removal spell. Next we have Banishing Light, which is the Oblivion Ring functional reprint. This card's very good and limited, and we'll probably see some standard play too. It's fighting for the Detention Sphere slots, just a matter of whether or not you want Detention Sphere or Banishing Light. Um, like, this card doesn't deal with Pack Rat as well, but it deals with opposing Detention Sphere as well, so big questions going on. Next, you have Dawnbringer Charioteers. It's a 4 mana 2/4 flying lifelink. I believe this is the pre-release rare for white. It's actually quite strong. This card can get out of hand really fast. Because people saw when you took a Wingseed Rider and put a Hopeful Eidolon on it, how quickly it got out of control. It just makes you win any race. And this card is very strong. I think it's a very powerful rare. Next we have Diaside, which is my absolute favorite card in this entire set. The name, the art, the actual functionality of the card, and the flavor text. It's just perfect, and I'm just so happy. And this card gives me happy feels. Um, Limited, it's gonna be strong. Exiling enchantments is always good. Standard, this is also gonna be a playa. So, yay! A card I really like gets to see play, as opposed to like Ambush Viper, which Ninja Snake never saw standard play, but he's fun. Next we have Dictate of Heliod, 5 mana flash, creatures you control get +2/+2. I don't think this will see standard play, it's just too expensive, but for limited this card could be just such a blowout. Giving all your creatures +2/+2 when they go to attack is something that is brutal. This card is actually very strong and limited if you're in white, because it makes all your creatures just bigger and just fight through their guys. It's very strong. Next you have Eagle of the Watch, 3 mana 2/1 flying vigilance. I do not like it, Sam. I am. It's 1 mana more than Vaporkin, and the vigilance is pretty mediocre. I think this will see play just because it has flying, and in this format it's very susceptible to flyers, but It's not strong. Isle of Rhetoric, it's a Horde Turtle with Rule of Law stamped on it. Um, People are talking about seeing this in like modern pod decks. I'm not sure about that one. But it's an interesting one. In limited, I think it's okay. I mean, it's a horn turtle, so it'll hold the ground down for a little bit until monster skies start coming out. So we'll see. I'm not that impressed with it. Font of Vigor is pretty terrible. Let's move on. This is what I like to do. Like, gaining life is pretty bad most of the time. If you're paying a card and paying 5 mana to gain 7 life, you're doing it wrong. Godsend, I don't think we'll see much standard play because in standard it's pretty weak comparatively, but in limited it's very good. Um, so if you open this card, hooray for you, yay! They're sad pandas. We have Harvest Card Alseeds, so it's a 3 mana 2/3. So it's basically a Minotaur in body. And then when it or another enchantment enters the battlefield, prevents all damage to be dealt to target creature. This card, don't underestimate it. It can set up some. I mean, if you have the right creatures to back it up, it's pretty fascinating that you get the Battlewise Hoplite, or sorry, yeah, Battlewise, no, favorite Hoplite effect on it. So perhaps it's the right thing to do. I don't know. I don't think it's that strong. I think it's okay. The Gunaban Trailblazer, hallelujah, strictly better Yoke Docs. God, did I hate Yoke Docs, and everybody wanted me in stream to take it. This is a card I could get behind. Rip in peace, Yoke Docs. Yes, I know it's rest in peace, but rip in peace. We have a new 1 mana 0/4. God. We have Launch the Fleet, which I don't think we'll see playing standard much, but in limited, this is pretty good. It sets up a ton of heroic and puts a bunch of 1/1s in play. So it can be pretty good. I think it's okay in limited. I don't think it's a bomb rare. I think it's strong though. We have Leonin Iconoclast, 4 mana 3/2. That heroic, whenever you catch a spell target, destroy target enchantment creature in opponent controls. When I first read it, I thought it was just enchantment. I thought this card was very strong. I thought it was like a Slayer of the Wicked for Innistrad. This is also not bad. The problem is just there's a lot of troublesome creatures that are just creatures, especially in Theros. Since Theros had fewer enchantment creatures, and as you get more deeper into the set, I noticed there are more and more enchantment creatures. So I think this card's gonna be okay though. We have Mortal Obstinacy, so it's a 1 mana enchant creature you control, gets +1/+1. Whenever it deals combat damage, you may sacrifice if you destroy target enchantment. I think this card's pretty bad. Even though you can destroy target enchantment, 1 mana +1/+1, and then you have to connect with it. I don't like it. We have Nyx Fleece Ram, which will make all aggressive players cry in both standard and limited. Standard because you play this, and then they are just like, it's 0/5. I have to throw cards away, and it gains life. It's just the most annoying thing, and I, for one, welcome my new sheep overlords. We have Oppressive Raise. So it's a 1 mana enchantment aura. Can't attack or block unless they pay 3, and activated abilities cost 3 more. I don't like this card, to be honest, because if you're building Voltron or something like that on just a giant guy, they'll pay 3 and attack you with it. So it's not the best card in the world. It can slow down the opponent, yes, but the question is it worth a card of yours? You have a 2 mana 3/1, which I think is pretty bad. It gets outclassed by everything and trades with everything. So I do not like it that much. It's playable though. Phalanx Formation. This card can set up some blowouts. Because giving creatures double strike at instant speed makes people sad. If you ever see this card and they're attacking you and then they just this plus strive on one creature, you're just dead. DED dead. Next we have Quarry Colossus, 7 mana, 5/6. He's a giant that has the oust effect where oust is the number of planes you control or whatever you want to call it. And the white card from the new commander set. I don't like him that much, to be honest. He's just like for 7 mana of 5/6, it costs a little bit too much for limited. Reprisal is a great reprint. Um, and this card is very strong. because there's like this kills Nessenasp, this kills a Wingseed Rider with an enchantment on it. Like this card's very powerful. It's very strong in limited. Standard probably won't see that much play though. We have Sightless Brawler, which I've already given my thoughts on. I don't like this sort of repressive cycle. Skyline is a card I have had to read like 7 or 8 times. 5 mana, whenever it or another enchantment enters the battlefield, it's basically flicker. And it's not that good, I don't think. I think this card's pretty bad. There's Sky Spear Cavalry, 3 mana, 2/2 flying double strike. Great if you can bestow something on it. So that's solid. Other than that, I mean it's a solid flyer. Like this card will probably win some games somewhere. We have Stonewise Fortifier, 2 mana bear that you can prevent all damage dealt to it by a target creature for 5 mana. I mean, it's another bear. So if you need 2 mana, guys, he's better than Traveling Philosopher, I guess. We have Supply Line Cranes, 5 mana, 2/4 flyer that when it enters the battlefield, put +1/+1 counter on a target creature. So this could be a 3/5 flyer for 5, which is pretty good scaling. I mean, typically you pay 5 mana for a 3/3 flyer, so not bad. And then lastly, we have Tethmos High Priest, 3 mana Minotaur body. Notice how there's a lot of 2 power creatures and a lot of 3 toughness or more creatures in this set. Just something to point out. That heroic, whenever you cast a spell targets it, return target creature card with a CMC 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. This card feels like it's good value, but you end up with so few creatures that die that early. Like you're just getting back 2/2s. So it's not like the actual best compared to other heroic spells. Anyway, that's it for white. Thank you guys all for watching, and keep your eyes peeled for the next, or for the rest of the series. Thank you all for watching.